Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss any of these really fantastic videos. Bye-bye!
Welcome, 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 everyone. I hope that everybody's new year is kicking off in a great way, in spite of COVID, in spite of our ups and downs and our crazy roller coaster of 2 years. I hope that everybody found time during the holidays to just find peace and relax and reset as we head into 2022. I want to thank you for joining me on such short notice. As always, I love seeing you guys in the comments. So I have Lisa on the chat. So if you have questions, anything, please, please, please let us know. I will tape this class so that it can be part of the Faba TV library because what I'm going to talk about today, what we're going to do today has been so helpful for me in sustaining myself throughout the last 2 years of the pandemic. Also in going forward, it's really, really helped me to get creative, to find different mediums, to express my art and utilize my art. Because although I haven't been as busy painting on people, I've been able to use these skills and this process to paint on different ceramics like the turtle, to be able to make cards, which we're going to do today, to be able to use this technique to just alleviate stress. So that's what I hope to do with you today. This can be kind of like Heather's happy hour, but with a purpose. Now, if you don't know, there are several people in our face painting community who have been affected by COVID, not just business wise, but personally. Thankfully, me and my family got over COVID without much problems over the holiday season. It was scary. I had to take care of my dad, and I was so worried about him. But thankfully, we're all getting healthy and ending up in a better place because no more COVID in the house. But one of our face painting family members, many of you have been following this journey on Facebook, Tracy Lamb, I think it's Smeenge. I apologize if I'm butchering your last name. We've met her at conventions. We know her happy, loving spirit online. She's always there to chime in, to lend a positive word. And she has been in the hospital battling COVID. So this class is dedicated to her because I can tell you that one thing that holds true no matter what, no matter where I am, that prayer and positivity still work. No matter what you think, whether you think it's wishful thinking, they work. One, because what they do is they lend themselves to showing your concern and your care, and that's important. Two, if you're someone like me and you believe in God, then you know what? That's just part of the process. It's part of understanding, sharing, and believing and having enough faith. So Tracy, this class is for you. And what I hope, my prayer for this class is that I can inspire you to make a card that you can send to Tracy. And if you know another one of our great friends, Teretha, she is in Texas. She is battling cancer right now. So if you make 2 cards, if you make 1 card, can you please send it to one of our face painting family and friends? Just send them a note to tell them that you love them, that you're thinking about them, that you pray for their healing, or that you care about their healing, because we have such a beautiful community. We really, really do. We're like, I call us a small but big community, right? Because no matter where we are in the world, we have a friend. You can probably throw a rock and figure out somebody that you know, or you can think of someone off of the top of your head in this community that inspires you. So with that being said, it's important for us to support one another, especially when we need each other our most. I will be eternally grateful to you guys because throughout this whole time, many of you checked up on me, called, supported Silly Farm, even when you didn't have it. You took advantage of Fava TV specials, and I will be eternally grateful to each and every one of you. So also, let me get some housekeeping out of the way. On Thursday, I am heading to Washington, D.C. to freeze my buns off at Kidvention. This is going to be the comeback Kidvention because we haven't been there in a while, and we miss everybody, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm teaching classes. I'll be there to jam. So come and see me. If you can't beat me there, meet me there. So that is January 13th or 14th through the 16th. Okay, so this weekend coming up. After that, I am making plans for several other classes. We are going to the Clowns of America International Convention, which will be held in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm so grateful because they gave me the opportunity to host a pre-day class. And not just any pre-day class. This is a pre-day class with 3 teachers. So whether you're beginner, whatever it is, you're going to have the opportunity to learn from me, from Marcella Mama Clown, and also from the one, the only Yasmin Hart. So there is, there's a limited amount of space because we want to be able to help everybody. So you can see behind me the class information. You can register here below and make sure that you just join us in Atlanta. If you're in the surrounding areas, come and see us. Then, Fabaic! Yay! Okay, so as most of us know, we've had to keep on rescheduling Fabaic because of COVID, and it's been stressful, and it's hurt my heart and my soul because 1, I miss everybody, but 2, it was scarier times. So Fabaic registration is open. I encourage everybody to register. You can register below. If you need a roommate, we have a roommate forum. If you have questions, if you want to know how things are going to flow, call us, email us, It is, you can email me at heather@sillyfarm.com. You can go to the website. You can call the office. It does not matter. We want you to be there. We want us all to be safe, but we also want to promote our industry and not just let it fall by the wayside. And the way that we do that is coming together, brainstorming, inspiring one another, and then we just grow bigger and better through those experiences. So if you love face and body art, if you want to learn airbrush, if you want to learn face painting, if you want to learn marketing, join us. Come to FABEIC 2022. We're the world's best instructors and the world's best people. We are the world's best people. Get together, we draw, we paint, we create, and we make friends for life. So FABEIC.com. Join me and let's just, come back to where we are, what we love so much. It was easy to forget or to go inside of our show and forget how special we are, because what we do for a living is incredible. We take our art and we make masterpieces. We create living art. And the beautiful part about what we do is that it's not one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is you can take face painting, and I'm going to show you how to use it to make greeting cards. I make gift bags. I've been teaching classes for 2 years through the library systems on all different things that are related to art. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have my background in face painting. Because what it did is it allowed me the opportunity to connect with people, because, face painters, that's what we paint on, is people. And two, it allowed me to use what I love so much and not get bored and not forget about art. So I encourage each and every one of you to draw and paint along with me today, to make those cards that I'm talking about. I'll tell you this, and then I promise I'll get started, because I know it's easy to talk too much. I'm not even looking at the chat. So I found myself every other day searching for a greeting card. Literally, I'm like, it's my son's, it's the teacher's Christmas. I have to send Christmas cards to the teachers. I have, a birthday card. It's just to say thank you for people who do things for me. And I'm always looking for a card, right? And then I'll buy a pack of cards from Publix that are like, thank you, but that's not a birthday card. And then I'll buy, this. And I used to have a stack of cards, but then I can't find them. I'm at home. So what I did when I started teaching my card class is I went to Hobby Lobby and I got a full set of these blank cards. So they're on cardstock, and I would make 6 at a time. And I put them in my purse. I put them near my desk. And what they did for me is every time I needed a card, I had one. And it was perfect, because what it did is it gives me the opportunity to send something made with love that's unique, that makes people happy because they can tell that it's handmade. And the beautiful thing about what I'm going to teach you is that you can use your face paints, you can use markers. All you really need is markers, water, and some blank cards. So these are awesome. They're fun. They use a lot of creativity, guys. So I encourage you to work along with me. So if you don't have like these specific cards, which are literally just like 5.5 by 7, I think, you just need some cardstock. Because the reason you want to use cardstock is because we're going to be using water. If you use thin paper, then it just gets really soft and it takes longer to dry. So the supplies that you'll want by you is definitely some cardstock. I have markers, a sheet protector, or you could have a plastic baggie, and like some paper towels. You can pull out your paints and paint along with me. This class is for you to get in your flow. We're going to call it Heather's Happy Hour in honor of our friends who need us most. So with that being said, I think that we should get started. One little other thing that I can recommend is this. I found this book, I believe, or maybe Lisa got it for me, maybe at Target. Who doesn't? Oh, no, I think I bought this one at Target. Whenever you see things like this, I know it seems like, oh, we always have a lot of stuff and we're hoarders or paint hoarders. That's okay, guys. Don't worry. The beautiful part about this is that, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, my camera stopped. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. My camera, you won't be able to see it. So I bought this coloring book at Target, and it has been awesome for me because it gives me inspiration. Now, one thing that I've been doing, like I mentioned, is I've been teaching a lot of arts and crafts virtual classes, and I need to come up with new ideas constantly. So having little resources like this nearby really do help when you need flow and ideas, and you can get these inspiration everywhere from Pinterest to Google. And it's important to just keep them nearby, especially in those moments where you're not feeling your most creative. So on Wednesday or Thursday, I believe, I am teaching a class for the library on Joy Journal. And I use a lot of these techniques, so I will send you guys the link. It's a free class if you want to tune in and just set some good intentions for 2022. Okay, so now let's get started. So as I was saying, this is just cardstock. Okay, so these are a pack of 50 cards that I get at Hobby Lobby for $10. So they're not expensive. They're definitely cheaper than any other, gift card that you're going to buy at Hallmark. You'll give Hallmark a run for your money. Another thing that you can have nearby is some construction paper, but I want you to get thick construction paper. If you don't have construction paper, then you can also use manila folders. Let me get one out. I'm all about recycling and reusing. So if you have manila folders, they're one of the best things to use because they don't really bleed. Then if you're not using them, or if they're old and you wrote all over the tabs, this is perfect. Then you won't be wasting anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the easiest, most basic. I'm just going to, and if you're going to do this, then you'll want to do it with something that won't bleed. So I'm going to get myself a Sharpie because I'm going to outline it. And the first one that we're going to do is so simple. We're just going to, I'll draw them down here, is a heart. Okay, like a regular heart. Then I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to cut out my heart. Just like this. So you want to, obviously cut it out. Now, one thing that I can tell you is a little bit of advice is keep your good scissors away from your kids because they always cut something sticky and then they ruin your scissors. And get yourself a good pair of scissors. They come so much in handy. Okay, so once you cut out your heart, all right, I'm going to just make sure that it's trimmed pretty good. And if you have questions, comments, feedback, please, by all means, Lisa's on the chat and she can answer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it in the middle of my card. And if it's too small, make a bigger one. You don't have to, you can go as big as you want. It is up to you. Okay. Now, I have a page protector here just so that you guys can see it in a bigger form, but you can use a plastic baggie. You can use, a Ziploc baggie. That's what I do when I'm teaching this, like for the YMCA, and I'm doing it in person. It's not always affordable for me to get a million sheet protectors, so I just get plastic baggies from the dollar store. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to lay this directly on here, and then I'm going to grab some Crayola markers or whatever markers that you have. They don't have to be Crayola. They could be whatever markers that you have. So I'm just going to get a nice variety of colors. Just like this. Okay, so now all you're going to do is, and you can position your heart any way that you want, is you're just going to start kind of scribbling, okay? So as you can see, and you don't have to go on the inside of the heart, but I'll put some here because that heart is going to be your negative cutout, so you don't really have to do that. All right, and I'm just going to put some here like this. Maybe use some orange on the outside and bring in in some other colors that I have close by. Who doesn't love pink? Well, you guys know that I love pink. Gonna put some pink there. If you want it to be like a brighter pink, gonna go back on top of that. Just like this, and maybe in that corner, add a little bit of purple. Okay, just like this. All right, let me put away my markers. Now, I have a little spray bottle here. It's just filled with water. Most of you already have one for your face painting. So I'm just going to kind of line that back up. And then I'm just going to give it a few sprays, just like this, so that you can see the beading. You want the beading. And this is where you might want to keep like a paper towel or like a washcloth close by, just so that you can dry off any extra, because you don't want water around, because then when you go to draw more water just will create a mess. So what I do is I just position my little heart again, just like this. And then all I do is take my sheet protector and I just lay it here, and then I press. Okay. Now you can already see what's happening. I mean, for me, I'm so excited. It's like hippie's dream come true, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Then I'm going to lift this off. I'll lift that off, okay? And you can see like maybe around my card a little bit that there's some extra water. So first things first, I'm just going to wipe down my space because, yeah, you don't want extra water. Then I'm going to take my card and again, I'm just going to kind of dry it off, okay? Now, don't get rid of this piece, okay? You can use this. I use this all the time as like a second layer if you want to. But just like that, look what you get. Look at this beautiful, beautiful card. You see this, guys? Like, so simple. There's not much that you have to do to it. I mean, you could leave it just like this. We're not going to, but you could, which is the point of it. You could make this shape anything that you want, okay? Whatever you're into. You can do a Christmas tree, because I was in tons of Christmas trees for the Christmas time. You can do, you know, flowers. You can do peace signs. You can do anything. Do a cupcake for a birthday. Do anything. I'm going to focus on a heart for this one because I'm sending all my love to Teretha, to Tracy. I want you guys to heal. I want to see you guys back bigger, better than ever. I'm a firm believer that your body is so strong and it's going to take care of it yourself, especially when you are surrounded by all the love. So what you're going to want to do before you start drawing on it or doing anything else to it is you want to give it just a few minutes to dry, because we're going to go on top of it. We're going to draw. We're going to add our little details. We're going to add our little flow. So you can also, just so that you guys know, I'm going to put this one aside, do a very similar thing using your arty cakes, right? So most of us, there is a few artists like Elizabeth Gale and Amanda Careford. They've been painting on bags and on cards and using all of their face paint. And it has been a godsend for them because they can use their one-stroke techniques and it's beautiful original art. So if you want to simply, you know, use your supplies that you have, you can use them instead of using markers. They work the same exact way. So you can take your heart and do something very, very, very similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an arty cake. Okay, just like this. And when you're painting on paper with arty cakes, you want to use more water because the paper is going to absorb it. So just like this. Okay. Okay. Remember, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please, Lisa is on the chat. I want to hear from you. Tell me where you're checking in from. I love to hear from you guys. Okay, so I'm going to hold my little heart in place, and then I'm just going to go right around my heart. But you see what I said, guys, about how you need more water? This particular cake that I'm using is the Patty de Leon Pattylicious cake. I miss you, Patty. I love you. Okay. All right, so just gonna follow this around just like this, okay? Getting there. If you need to pick up some more paint, guys, don't worry. Pick up an arty cake that you haven't been using for a while and use it. Okay. Okay. Just gonna come and connect them. Okay. So I'm gonna pick this up, and then of course, look what I have, this beautiful, obviously, ombre heart. And then you can use the same exact techniques. What do I mean by that? So this pocket protector is still a little wet from the last time we used it. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to take my rag. I'm going to wipe it down, just like this. Then I'm going to put my card underneath it because I want to see how much extra space I'm going to be using. And then you can pick up the same arty cake. You can pick up a different arty cake. It is up to you. And just like this, I'm just going to kind of slather on some paint, okay? Just like this. And that was literally just using my face paint. Then what I'm going to do is the same idea. Just spray it, okay? As you notice, it's going to start beading, especially on this type of material. And then the same thing that we did before. And don't worry if it's a little bit wet in the inside. It's going to kind of spread to that original heart, but that's okay. That's what makes this so interesting. Okay. Okay. So then I lift it up and look at this beautiful kind of watercolor-ish. Gonna clean it up again. Gonna take this. I'm going to just kind of dry it off, take off the extra moisture. Now, I like this this watercolor effect in the inside of the heart. I like it that it's not just completely dry or blank. I think it just gives it its own little style. So now what you're going to see is two different types of cards. And look, how fast was that? I was able to get two cards out of the way, 2 minutes. You know, imagine you can make a whole set of cards, leave them, and be able to send them out or have them as soon as you need them. Okay, so now, since we have two cards, we can start working on them, right? We can start creating, we can start coming up with ideas. So first things first, you have a couple of options. Whenever I'm drawing, there's two things that I like to have. I like to have, more thin style markers and pens. I love felt tip pens. And the reason that I like to practice drawing with pens and markers is because it really helps your control. So when we're painting, a lot of the time the paintbrush does some work for us, right? It glides, it moves, especially on the skin. But when you're drawing with pencils and when you're drawing with markers, you have to do a lot more of the work. So I encourage you guys to get crafty, to practice using these mediums as well, because all it's going to do is make your hands stronger, make your wrists stronger. So have like a Sharpie nearby, one that has a nice tip, because that is going to 100% make this process easier for you. So first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to start embellishing my design. So you have a couple of choices. You can write her name right in the middle. You can make it very personal. You can write just happy birthday. You can write sending you love. You can write any inspirational message that you want. You could also just leave it blank. It's 100% up to you. So if you don't want it to bleed through, I encourage you to put, something anytime that you're using like a Sharpie marker, the possibility is there for it to bleed through. So just put something in between it. So what I'm going to do is just start off by tracing my heart, okay? So just kind of giving that heart a little bit more of a definition to it. So I'm just going to go right in and go to one side and maybe pull that and go to the next side. Now I'm a lefty, so sometimes everything feels a little backwards and not as simple, but that's okay, guys. Now, Next thing that you're going to do, you are going to find a pattern, find something that is going to motivate you, find something that you can kind of be inspired by. So if you look at this design right here, you're going to see like inside the O, inside of the borders of the joy, the little heart, the way that the letters are decorated. Think about that. Utilize that to your advantage. Use it as guides and motivation to create. So I'm going to keep this really close by me so that I have some motivation and some ideas as well. So the first thing that I want to do is just create a design, right? So when you're looking at your art, you can do it diagonal, you can do it horizontal, you can do it vertical, but pick kind of a flow that you can work from. Now, my heart is my focal point, so I would like to work from my heart. I absolutely love, if you can see this one right here, I love the way that these kind of big teardrops flow from this flower. So that's what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to make a half circle here, right in the top. And then I'm just going to create some flower petals. And you see the last one was a little bit too small. So the more that I do this, the more that I create, the more that I practice these strokes, the better that I get at it. And that's why something like making a greeting card is so important, because it forces you to practice, and then it's one of one. It's your art, okay? So hopefully when Tracy receives this, she's going to be so incredibly happy. Okay, so I made my first little flower. Now what I want to do is just create some patterns from it. So I'm going to make my first flower, or my first kind of teardrop there. And then I'll do another one on this side, just like that. Okay. And then I might want to make a bigger one and connect it there, just like that. And then maybe at the top, I'll make an even bigger one, but one that has a little bit more of a pointy top to it. Okay. Next thing that I want to do is just create another inside layer. So I'll come from one edge for another and just start creating a second layer. And then I'll do the same thing here. Okay? Then you can fill it in with circles. Remember, we are artists. So this is your art. You can make some of these edges a little bit thicker, just like this. Okay, make this outside border a little bit thicker there as well, right? I can add another little teardrop inside of there. Okay, so you see how something so simple can come together so incredibly beautiful, right? So now let's keep on going. Let's just keep on adding our elements to it. So because this design, or this particular card, is for Tracy, and I want her to know that she's loved, I am going to put the word love right in the middle. Okay, so you got to plan it out. And one thing that I learned when I learned to airbrush names for t-shirts is that you want to start in the middle so that you have enough space to fit everything. Because if I start with L and I make it so big, by E, I ran out of room. So what I'm going to do is start with the O and the V, since they're the middle ones, the middle letters. So I'm going to just make an O. And then I'm going to make a V. Okay, so since that's the middle, that helps me to know that now I have room for my E. Okay, and also for my L. Okay, just like that. So here's my little love heart for her, love for Tracy, okay? And now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to encourage each and every one of you, is to get creative with this card, to look at and say, okay, so I have this beautiful top piece, maybe I should balance it off on the bottom, right? Or on the sides, so that you start creating your flow. So in here, I'm just going to create some lines that will connect just like this. Okay, so that I'm creating those breakpoints. And then I feel like I should mimic this down here. So I'm going to start off again with the circle. And then I'm going to try my hardest this time to get my flower petals a little more even. Okay, just like this. And then remember what I did is my teardrops flowed out. So in this case, you might want them to flow a little bit different, but it is up to you. So I'm going to start off right here in my biggest one there. And then I'm going to make my larger teardrops and then smaller teardrops on the sides, okay? Just like this, all right? And then I'm going to create a similar pattern, just like this, and connect right inside of here, and maybe make some circles and fill them in just like this, okay? Now, for those of you that feel like your art is always flat, one of the best and easiest ways to make your art pop is by using a combination of textures, thick and thin lines. So we know that from face painting. Our teardrops look better when we go thick to thin. The same methods apply in art on paper. When you want to make your art pop, you want to use a combination of heavier lines, softer lines, heavier opaque colors, softer colors. So one way you can easily do that is by using a combination of crayons, colored pencils, markers. So as you can see, the markers are going to be your most opaque, even though we watered them down. So now I want to use my colored pencils in order to make them and give it that contrast. So what I'm doing is I'm just coloring in my letters. And as you can see, I'm going to go heavier at the top and lighter at the bottom, okay? And you can do, a variety of colors that match. So heavier, just like this, and then it's softer at the bottom. And you see what that does? As you can see right here, it immediately, guys, makes your art pop when you combine the textures and elements and your and also the color gradients. Okay, so then last but not least, I have a little bit of orange in here. I'll do that one. So again, heavier at the top and softer at the bottom. Okay, and you see how beautiful this starts to come out. You see how it gives it that very delicate touch. So let's continue using my squiggly lines because I like that pattern, just like that. And you can double some of these lines and triple some of these lines. And, go with your flow. I'm just going to add some more, right? Because those lines kind of break it up for me, make me happy to see the way that this design is coming together. And if you still feel that it needs something, you can always go around your heart and make it bigger and add a pattern inside of that, right there, right? So if you see in this particular book, there's lots of patterns inside of the lettering. Like, look at how pretty the A is, right? I love the way that they did that A. So you could always go in there and make a pattern. Make something that, you know, kind of forces you into a creative flow. And what you're going to find when you do this, guys, is that your face painting is going to get better because your creativity is going to be bigger. So when you start making your unicorns or your butterflies and you say, okay, I want the wings, they're looking dead. Now you know there's so many different ways that you can create and add those elements just by essentially doodling. So this is my first card. Look at how beautiful it is. Tracy, this one is for you. As you can see, guys, sorry about that. Let me get the right camera angle. So as you can see, this is just a loving card, very simple to do. Again, when you leave that heart open, you can make it for anybody, right? Like, this doesn't have to just be for love. This can be for Valentine's Day. This can be a happy birthday. All of that is up to you. All right, so let's take our next card. This one is dry at this point, and this one is our watercolor one that we did with our arty cake. So you can keep on going by using your face paints, right? So again, I'm still going to put something inside because the more water that you're going to be using on it, then you probably just want to make sure that, you know, it's not getting totally saturated. So what I'm going to do is just embellish it, right? So I'm picking up another arty cake. I believe that this one was the Faba TV Superstar, one of my favorite cakes. It's white and this beautiful neon coral, magenta. I believe that is plum. Such a beautiful cake to do, you know, roses with and flowers. And if you did not see Denise Cold's new luau class on Faba TV, let me tell you something. Her plumeria, that dolphin, the double hibiscus, stop it. It is absolutely an amazing class. Make sure that you tune in. Okay, sorry, I just wiped it off mainly because I'm going to be painting and I don't want to get it all over myself. So I am just, oops, you didn't see that. All right, keep those questions coming, guys. I'm sorry if I'm just painting and not talking to the comment section, but I want you guys to know that I love you, everybody who is tuned in. I hope that you're painting along. If you can, I would love, love, love if you shared pictures. I'm going to put up Tracy's address so that you can send them directly to the hospital. I would love, love, love for you to get this done this week. Let's start her year off knowing that she's loved and supported, and that would make it awesome. Okay, so same ideas. Let's look at this, you know, either diagonal. Last time we did it vertical, so let's start diagonal now. And what I'm going to do is just start off by making some flower petals or just petals in the corner, right? Just like that. And diagonal, so let me do it in the bottom corner as well. And if you need to, then get a smaller brush. That part, you know, guys, is up to you. Use your comfort level. All right, so we have two kind of flower shapes right now to begin with. And I'm going to fit another set of floral shapes right in here because they're coming to my heart, right? And I'm gonna bring this all the way around, right? So I have two flowers, and now I can do another one just to make sure that it matches. And don't mind if you overlap on your heart. Again, this is going to help your creative process. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help all your strokes get better. Okay, so now that I did my two little hearts, right, or my two little flowers right in there, I'm going to pick up a kind of more of a leaf arty cake. So this one is Juicy Leaf. I believe it is by Milena. We love you, Milena. You are a true inspiration, my friend. Okay. So I just picked up this arty cake and I'm just gonna use it to make any leaves, right? So if I want to make a leaf in that direction and in that direction, and if I want to make, you know, any leaves coming from my flowers, 100% I can. Same thing here. I can use them to go up, to go down, maybe make and add some more right here. And look how this is coming together, guys. Look at how beautiful this is coming together. So simple, right? So simple. Gonna add a few more kind of cascading just like that, right? So look at how simple and easy that was. Using our very normal strokes that we do. There was nothing out of the norm about this. I just traced the heart, added some extra little, strokes and florals. Then go back, get your marker, get something that you can add and embellish with. Get something that you're going to take it up a notch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start doodling again. So I'm going to start off by making, and this time I am using a felt tip pen. And this one might be running out of ink, but that's okay, right? Let me get a different one, my friends. Let's see what this one is. All right, so I'm just going to be utilizing a marker that has a nice round tip. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some strokes, right? I'm just going to put some dots. We all love dots, right? And then I'm going to make some loops. Some of them will be overlapping just to practice kind of outlining my flowers, and it gives it kind of that nice extra watercolor effect, mixed media. So and it looks really good if you have a white marker, if you have a white paint marker. So I'm just making this shape to kind of go right over my flowers. And again, just kind of giving them a double layer, just like that. And if you're somebody who's like, I have to face paint, I have to, paint on it, what I encourage you to do is I'm just going to pull up a little bit of white, right? This is up to you, totally optional. If you haven't tried the new Fab Luxe White, what are you waiting for, friends? It's a line white, so it's very waxy, great for line work, especially those of you who want that, smooth, silky white. So now I'm just going to maybe go over this one more time by just drawing and tracing my strokes just like that. So as you can see, this beautiful card is just getting even more beautiful by adding those little elements, right? So now the next parts are up to you, right? You don't have to go any further. You could 100% leave it like this. You can go in and write their name. You can write Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Birthday, anything that you want. These are your cards. How about just thank you? Thank you for being you. I will tell you, I read reviews all day long. I love them. I think that they're important. I leave reviews for companies because in this day and age, Amazon is taking over the world. And what's really going to separate small business from Amazon, and there's nothing wrong with Amazon, it's definitely helpful in many cases. But what's going to separate us is a lot of our reviews, is that personal connection to our customers. So it only takes a minute to review somebody, and it also only takes a minute to say thank you. Now, I will tell you, our postman worked so hard over Christmas, right? Over the holidays, delivering. Amazon had them working Sundays. I got a package one time at 4:30 in the morning from a postman working overtime. So, my husband was like, do you have a card that I can give to the postman? So we took one of our cards that I had made. I was home with COVID, and we put money in there for her, and it wasn't that much. And she was so grateful. I made her day. And she always kept reminding me, or she keeps on saying to me, I love the card. It was so beautiful. Did you make that? So she knew that the card was made. And even though there was money in it, I'm sure that she was very grateful for the money. I will tell you, there's something magnificent about giving something that is one of one. Your art is one of one. So don't undervalue it. Okay. So you can always take your markers and add any little bit of extra details that you want to add to it. You can use your colored pencils, like I said, to go in and add any texture that you might want. As you can see, I'm going in with my colored pencil, giving it a little bit of, and it's hard to see because of the bright lights inside of here, but you can take, of course, a marker. And you saw what I did before. This time, I'm just going to give it a little bit of that kind of mixed look of using both my markers and my paint, right? It's going to make it, just kind of give it its own unique look. Just like that. And of course, I'm one of those people, can't help but fill it up with a few little dots here and there, right? There we go. Now look at this beautiful card, right? This card, look at this card. We created 2 beautiful cards. And if I wasn't talking, you'd be able to get this done in 15 to 20 minutes, right? You can make a bunch of cards. You can use all your different arty cakes. You can play around with it. You can use this technique if you don't want to cut out a heart from, if you don't have any construction paper. If you didn't know, and you can buy them all by themselves too. But if you didn't know, you can use a white crayon, okay? And I'll show you that as our last little card. And then, of course, I want to encourage each and every one of you to continue to art, to continue to practice, to continue to use these elements to make something amazing and beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white crayon and I'm just going to draw a little circle. It's going to be a little hard. Make a body. I know it's hard to see. It's almost going to be impossible. And I'm going to make one butterfly wing and a second butterfly wing and a third, and then a fourth. And the only hard part about this is that it's not easy to see what you're drawing when you're drawing in white. Like, you got to kind of have a little bit of a, let me see if I can adjust the camera, make it, no, you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to just kind of try to eyeball it. That's the only hard part about using a white crayon. However, now what you can do is I'm going to clean this one off. Just got to get my, gonna clean that one off, right? Got to clean off. That's the other cool thing about using like plastic bags and sheet protectors, is that you can clean them off very easily. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of scribble on this whole thing, okay? So the only reason I would kind of put it underneath it is so that you know where to scribble, meaning like you don't want to scribble on out here if you don't need to. and just going to kind of give it a little bit of a crazy scribble, just like this, just so that, you know, I can see how much I need to do. Green, just like this. And maybe, oops, come on, go back in. All right, and maybe a little bit here. All right, put this away. Now I'm going to just give it a little spray, just like that. I'll have my rag close by. I'm gonna take this and then I'm going to flip it just like this, right? Can you see what's there? Can you see that cool, awesome butterfly? I'm gonna lift it up, of course. I'm gonna wipe down my space. I'm gonna take my rag. I'm gonna go like this, sticky tee. Lift it up and look. How cool is that, guys, right? How cool is this one? This is a awesome butterfly card, right? You can do this with any design, right? So you can make the whole thing like a henna shape and make it, and then do the last thing that you would do is put your paint on top of it. This is one of the fastest and easiest ways to make custom cards. Because the white crayon is wax, it's going to be resistant to the water. So you're just going to get this beautiful shapes all around it. And how beautiful, guys, right? Look at how beautiful this is. If you want to, you can always go in and add some extra squigglies just to make this your own personal card. You can write a message in there, which is, so say, I want this one to be my believe message, right? There is no limit to what you can create using this style. It's fast, it's easy, and most important, if nothing else, hopefully today what I inspired you to do is just get creative and send somebody a message of love. I have been talking about this for a while, maybe not with each and every one of you, but for those of you that don't know, my husband is a pastor and I did not grow up very religious. However, what it's done for me is it's helped me to build a lot of faith, right? And learn and expand my mind. And one thing that we talk about in church many times, and many of you know about this, is the word tithing. Okay, so when we think about tithing in the church, we think about giving 10% back. I've adopted that principle into my life and tithing to my customers, tithing to my friends, tithing to strangers, and not in hopes that I'm just going to get tenfold, but in hopes that it creates a ripple effect so that other people want to essentially tithe and pay it forward. Now, it doesn't always have to come in the way of money, right? Like I can send a card that has nothing in it and it's not going to make it any less important. But whenever I make a card and I send it, or I can reach out to somebody and share a piece of love, that is part of my tithing habit. And that has helped me so much in business. One, because building relationships is everything in small business. As I said, in order to compete with Amazon, in order to compete with some of the big box brands, you're going to have to do it person by person. So I hope that you take that little piece of advice. I am going to put up Tracy's address. I don't want to put up Teretha's address without her permission, so I will ask her and then I will post it on our page to make sure she's okay if I share her address for people to send some love to her. So I hope that you guys had a good time today. Thank you so much for keeping me busy in the chats. I'm sorry that I didn't have a whole bunch of time to talk on the chat today, but everybody who is tuning in, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate all of your prayers for Tracy, for Teretha, for Silly Farm, for me. I look forward to seeing you. Like I said, I'll be in Atlanta I will be again virtually for the Kids Entertainer Fest with Buster Balloon. If you didn't join us last time, I got to be on a panel, guys, with DJ Lance Rock. Now, if you're a mom, you know how cool that is, right? My kids love Yo Gabba Gabba, so it was so cool to see him. Kids Entertainer Fest was a huge success because so many great talents came together to share information that is priceless, especially in our line of work. So definitely check out Kids Entertainer Fest. Then I will be headed to COAI, which means Clowns of America International Convention in Atlanta, Georgia. That will be in April, and I'm going to be teaching a workshop called Pretty Practical with Yasmin Hart and Marcella Mama Clown. And then, yes, it all builds up to FABIG 2022, guys. Okay, so FABIG 2022, we are so excited. We have fabulous instructors from around the world. We have, of course, Elodie is coming. Yay! For the first time teaching anywhere in the United States is Svetlana. You know her from the Sparkling Boards. Svetlana Keller. She has come to FABIG every year. She is a powerhouse. She is so brilliant, from creating to taking pictures to painting to being dedicated. She is coming to FABIG to teach. We have Lourdes Llanos all the way from Peru. We have so many amazing artists coming to teach you, to help us come back bigger, better, stronger, to use our creative flow. So I want to see you there. Then I have a bunch of stuff coming up over the summer, and then ACE Convention. Leslie put up the dates. I think it's in September. That is in Texas. It is just such a feel-good convention. So join us at ACE in Austin, Texas. Then I'm heading to the UK. I get to see all my beautiful friends. Hopefully we'll have a fancy dress party, and I'll come correct this year. So I have a lot of things planned. Don't meet me there, beat me there, because I want to see everybody. So I hope you can join me on the road. Sending all my love and prayers to Tracy. I hope everybody has a beautiful week, and please keep on arting, friends. And make sure to subscribe to Faba TV. There are 700 classes. We had Denise Cole last week. Before that, we had Ceci Troncoso all the way from Argentina. Melissa Perez is coming to teach next week. We had Susie Amaro in the studio. I know that I've been a little bit behind in getting you classes directly every single Monday by 8 o'clock in the morning, but I am playing catch up, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have John like I used to, so I am doing production, filming, editing, marketing all by myself until I can get caught back up. So thank you for your patience, but thank you for subscribing. Having you as friends makes everything 10,000 times better. All right, so I wish you a beautiful afternoon. Thank you for arting around with me. I hope that you enjoyed making these beautiful cards. Remember, you can turn them into gift bags. You can, make 10 at a time and keep them, send them to a friend, let someone know you love them. And if you make a card, can you please tag me in it? Can you show me? Can you post it? I want to see what you're doing. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss any of these really fantastic videos. Bye-bye!